Yo, throughout the years that I've talked about me being in a cult, it's one question that so many of you all continue to ask. And that I decided, you know what, man? I'm going to go ahead and answer the question the best way I can. But you all always ask this question every time I talk about me being part of a black cult at one point in time, right? And that is, Langston, why didn't you leave? And the answer is, it's just not that easy. It really isn't. You understand? Like, I could give it to you like this. To a certain degree, at one point in time in our lives, we were part of a cult. We just didn't know it. We just didn't know it. I mean, for anyone that has been in a bad relationship, right? And once you all broke up, you had to heal. Well, guess what? However many months that you were in that bad relationship, you were part of a cult. You just didn't realize it. If you were in any type of relationship or friendship where there, at the end of that relationship or friendship, hell, it could even be a job. At the end of that job, if it's required, if your body requires, your mind, body, and soul requires you to take the time to heal, you were part of a cult. You just didn't know it. So, whenever you want to know the answer to that question that you're asking me, well, you need to ask yourself, why didn't you leave that job when you knew that job was treating you like shit? Why didn't you leave your wife or your husband when you knew that your wife or husband was treating you like shit, and that your wife and husband wasn't going to change? That they were going to be the same way. That job wasn't going to change. That the way that their policies were set up and designed, it is what it was going to be. Or it is what it is going to be. I'm telling you. You didn't realize, and you don't realize it, that at the end of the day, you're part of a cult. So you want to beat on me and think that I'm the only weak-minded person because I'm following behind another person. But that's far from the furthest truth. That's just one aspect of a cult. I'm telling you, in my definition, what I define as being a cult is anyone that follows someone against their will, their own will. And that cult leader being someone that maliciously leads people to their own demise. And all of this for one purpose, of the reason why a cult leader would intentionally lead people to their own demise is for their own selfish purposes. That plain and simple. So, I got involved in a cult. I was on college campus, man. You know, the way that this cult had shit set up, the way the cult leader named Dr.york, his real name is Dwight York. He's serving time in jail. He's doing 135 years as we speak for touching little children. When you listen to the Sabians, also known as Nuwaubians, they will tell you that he was framed, that he did not commit these hideous crimes that the court says that he did. But when you do the research, for real, the research is out there. The victims are giving their testimony online. This motherfucker literally touched children. It's factual. It's evidence there. They will tell you that one person recanted. And they got that one person recanting on video, compared to the other 20-odd victims that Dr. Malachi Z.york, also known as Nuwaubian, touched, that will beg to differ of what that one person was recanting about. Because that one particular person first said, oh yeah, he did touch me. And then she turned around and recanted and said, oh no, by the way, not only did he not touch me, but all of the other people that claim that they got touched didn't get touched. Don't believe that. It is empirical evidence out there that states that man did that shit. Plain and simple. But the way he had this shit set up, right? He would go into impoverished neighborhoods. For those that don't know what impoverished means, it means poor. Black neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Where people have little to no education. So let me take this back a little bit. This is the picture that dr.york was painting. I'm coming into the neighborhoods and I'm here to save souls. I'm here to pick up the 144,000. The 144,000 that's gonna get picked up by this mothership and sent out into inner space. Because the rapture is coming. The apocalypse is coming. There's going to be anarchy. There's going to be chaos on the planet. And this whole planet is going to be engulfed in flames. And the 144,000 will be picked up by the archangel. And I failed to mention that he also pinned himself with the archangel Michael, or Michael, the angel Michael, the warring angel. He's also Malachi z.york. He is the grandson of the Anu, the Most High. This is what he was preaching when he came into the black neighborhoods. And being that we didn't know any better, we uneducated, you know what I'm saying? Public school system let us down. We don't know shit. The information that he was coming in with for as into the community was fucking ridiculous. Matter of fact, this man said he was from another planet. A planet called Risk. The 19th planet, the 8th planet in the galaxy, in the 19th galaxy, Risk. He would say that he was from another planet and that he has other beings talking through him. And we truly believe that. Why? Because most of us, we ain't know half of the shit he was saying. We was talking about ancient Sumerian texts, the ancient Egyptians and all the rest of that shit. We ain't know nothing about that. We had a public school education. We were stupid. I'm just being real with you. So the shit that he said, it went along with his whole ideology. Like, oh shit. The man said he's from another planet, and he gotta be from another planet. Because the shit that he's speaking, that he's saying, he sounds like he's from another planet. Yeah, according to little black kids that don't know any better. But the reality of it is, if you do a little traveling, and you drive across the tracks, the tracks is always, it's symbolic. It always separates the white neighborhood from the black neighborhood. So that's the reason why we always say drive across the tracks. So once you drive across the tracks, you enter into the white world. Shit, you niggas in the white world, they're learning about, you know what I'm saying, the ancient Sumerian text, Beowulf and the Anunnakis and Haru and Asar or Osiris and Isis, Aset. They learning all that shit in like the 9th, 10th grade. This is what the white York did. He preyed on us. Straight up, like Prey. Like he took advantage of us, of our stupidity and ignorance. So he went into the neighborhood knowing that we weren't going to know half of the shit that he's saying. So there's no dispute. There's no arguments. You know what I'm saying? Most of the people that live in black neighborhoods are either Christian or Muslim. You understand? And he tied himself into that. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, in each school, he always tied himself into each school, or rather story. You understand? So while we were in the school of Christism, you understand? When we walked and talked like Christ, guess what? At that point in time, he was Isa. Or not Yanun. I think that was his name at that point in time. And then when he, you know what I'm saying, went over to the school of Mohammedanism, he became Imam Isa. So each school he ties himself in somehow, some way. When we were in the school of Egyptology, he was Amanubi Vakbata, Aferti Atumre. In other words, when you're part of that cult, when you're in the cult, the white York has your mind, body, and soul. And if you're walking away from a religion and entering into his cult, it's easy to get hung up. Why? Because he doesn't change the pieces on the chessboard. He never changes them. He just changes the name. So guess what? Jesus, when you're dealing with Egyptology, Jesus becomes Haru in Egyptology. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're a religious person, he's telling you, hey, you know what? God does exist. Jesus does exist. The angels do exist. It's just not the Christian angels and God and Jesus and all of that stuff. It's over here where we call our angels Anunnakis, where we call our Most High, our God, Anu, when we call our Christ, our Savior, Haru. And in the ancient Sumerian text, they would call Jesus Tammuz. So he came in with that doctrine, man. You know what I'm saying? And the doctrine wasn't far-fetched. It wasn't like totally different or opposite from what was being taught through Islam or Christianity. He never took the pieces, the important pieces of the chessboard off of the chessboard. Never. He always kept it. So it was easy for you to get, if you were a religious person, easy for you to walk into his cult because he just changed the name. He just shuffled the names up. That's it. And in other words, we had class on Sunday from 1 to 6. Well, guess what? The Christians have church on Sunday from what Sunday school is from 9 to 10, and then from 10 to 12 is regular service. What's the difference? The Christians were asking for what do they call them? I forgot the offerings. Well, guess what? When we were teaching class on Sunday from 1 to 6, we asked for free will offerings. What's the difference? Christians said that if you're not good in heaven, on the planet Earth, then you don't get the opportunity to go to heaven when you die. Guess what? Malachi Z.york said, if you don't save souls and do what you need to do, based on what the Most High I knew says, or rather what Dr. York says for you to do. In other words, if you don't be a good little boy or girl and do my bidding, do what I tell you to do while you're in this cult, then guess what? You're going to get ate up. If you don't listen to what I'm saying, you're going to get ate up by the Anunnakis. See, what's so crazy is you were better off being part of a religion, because guess what? Out of all of the years when I was Christian, because before I became a cult, part of this cult, I was a Christian, a devout Christian at that. I went to church with my moms and all the rest of that shit. I believe in Jesus, foamed in the mouth, and I shamalam alaikum. I did all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? One thing that I realized throughout all these years, Christians never changed their doctrine. Jesus never changed his name. It always remained the same. And that, for that purpose, I can respect religion for that purpose, that they never changed their ideology. But here, in this black cult called the Nuwaubian Nation, they're forever changing it. Forever changing it. They're always changing it. And it's always a change to suit the white yoke. While he was out of jail, and now that he's in jail, because he's still giving orders, even though that they're telling him that he can't give any orders while in jail. I'm here to tell you, brothers and sisters, for those that were never part of a cult, that for one, you never want to be a part of one, and for two, it's not that easy for you just to walk away. It's just not. It really isn't. And let me tell you something, man. I'm going to tell you, one of the reasons why I never attempted to smoke crack or tried it is because I know that all of these people that's walking around here, that used to be normal people, but are now crackheads, that I can possibly be one of those. Same persons, but then just tried it one time and got hooked that quick. In other words, I didn't join a cult because I was weak-minded. I joined a cult because I had my own specific reasons. And when you have your own specific reasons, while being in that cult, everything else you kind of give a blind eye to. So you really don't pay attention to what's going on. And then what little things that look suspicious, you justify it. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't justify it, then you ask someone that's part of the cult to justify it for you. And they'll come up with some cockamamie fucking story for this shit. And then you'll be like, oh, okay, it makes sense now, even though it doesn't. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I've been through that. I've questioned so many different things in that organization. And every time I've questioned, even though the premise of Dwight York's ideology or doctrine is, if you don't believe me, check it out. Every time I checked it out, in the form of asking another member, yo, why is this way and that way? I never got a complete answer. I always get the runaround. And that's what Nuwaubians tend to do. They tend to answer your question with a question asked to you. And if they don't do that, then they play games with you by just taking you all the way around the world to answer a question, to the point where you forget the fucking question that you were asking. And now you look stupid. Yeah, man. I'm glad that I'm no longer a part of that cult. I walked away from it. I saw it for what it was worth. And I'm here to tell you that at the end of the day, If you have any family members, if you have any friends, if you have any associates, people that you just, somewhat care about, and and they're part of a cult, especially a black cult, you got to leave them alone. You got to let them figure that shit out. Other than that, man, I'm telling you, it was a couple people that was trying to get through to me, and they were unsuccessful until I woke up. Until I woke up is when I got it. Other than that, man, everybody is on their journey. Everybody's on their path, man. I see this motherfucker, Nature Boy. They denied bond for him. Get his ass up out of here, man. Put these motherfuckers where they belong. z.york and Nature Boy right beside each other. Matter of fact, Polite, you next. Get him up out of here. Because the reality of it is we all look at the members as being weak-minded, but the leaders really are. They're ego-driven, arrogant, narcissistic. And the reality of it is they need us more than we need them. I know what I got involved in the cult for, and that was to save souls. That was to help people. Because I saw, throughout all my years, man, black people been through so much shit. You know what I'm saying? And I just knew, like, going to church and believing in God and religion and all the rest of that stuff, that wasn't helping us. We need more than God, man. Straight up. For black people, we need more than God. Black people need black people. That's what we need. That's who we need. Matter of fact, to be real with you, before we were kidnapped, we never had any type of belief in a monotheistic religion. We always worship and praise polytheistic gods. We never believed in one until we came over here. And we had a slave master. We never believed in no royal family, the Trinity, Mother Mary and God and Father and the Son, Jesus. We didn't believe in that Greek-Roman story. We had a royal family. We had our culture intact. It wasn't until they kidnapped us and stripped us from every fucking thing and forced us to believe in their gods is when the shit hit the fan. So now, a black man and black woman's alternative, aside from religion, straight up, I'm not lying, when you walk around the corner, is the black cult. And yo, man, I'm not lying. I mean, we join cults for positive reasons, but the cult leaders of that cult, of those cults, don't have our best interests. They're strictly in it for the money and the power. And it's just that plain and simple. So, yo, it's not difficult. According to you all, it's not difficult. Langston, you could have walked away a week later after you joined the cult. Yeah, that's based on what you're saying, because you've never been part of a cult. It's not that easy. Just like it wasn't that easy for you to walk away from your girlfriend. It wasn't that easy for you to walk away from your boyfriend. It wasn't that easy for you to walk away from your job. You understand? So, I'm going to say it again. If you have anyone that's part of a cult, it's best that you leave them alone, let them figure it out themselves. Other than that, if you try to get in the way of them being part or affiliated with the cult that they are part of or affiliated with, they are going to resent you like I resented my family. Matter of fact, I call some of my family members black devils, because that's what we were taught to call anyone that went against Dr. York's cult a black devil.